dog new tricks. I'm exactly the same as I was when I was 14. But if you choose to believe it and pursue it and go after it, then you can start to get better. I ended up meeting these two entrepreneurs. They hired me as a copywriter, and they said, look, we look for partners. We settle for employees. So don't think of yourself as a copywriter. You can have any job in this company that you want, but you've got to become the right person for the job. Now, by then, I was all the way in on self-development. I was learning about getting better. I was learning about skill acquisition. I was pushing myself. I was reading. I was trying to improve my skill set. So I took them very seriously. And I worked my way up. And I went from copywriter to chief marketing officer. They made me an owner in the company. They gave me actual equity just through not wanting to lose me. I did that for about 8.5 years. I chased money. They say a fool never learns. A smart man learns from his mistakes, and a wise man learns from the mistakes of others. Now, I've often been a fool, much to my dismay. I've occasionally been smart, but I've rarely been wise. I'm hoping in what I'm about to say, some of you will be wise. Remember, I had told my wife, I'm going to make you rich. I told my father-in-law, I'm going to make your daughter rich. I told my friends, my family, everybody growing up, I'm going to get rich one day. And here I was, on paper, I was worth about $2 million. So technically, I had made it. But there's a big difference between being wealthy on paper and being wealthy in your bank account, which not a lot of people understand. There's a very big functional difference. And I was so emotionally distraught. I was showing up every day just trying to chase money. I didn't care about the product. I didn't care about the customer I was trying to serve. And it was really beginning to drain me. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, how is it possible that I'm living the cliche of money can't buy happiness? This is a joke. So I went to my wife, and I said, look, I know I promised I would make you rich, but I'm going to need a little more time. I need to step back. I need to feel alive again. I am so profoundly unhappy that this just isn't worth it anymore. And my wife said, I bet on you. And so I went in and I quit. And I said, look, here's your equity back. I'm not going to cross the finish line, so I don't want to get anything for this. But I need to go do something that makes me feel alive. And then they said, what are now the sort of famous words in my life, we could do this without you, but we don't want to. So what would it take for us to keep moving forward together? And the answer to that question was Quest Nutrition. For 3 very different reasons, we decided that we were going to sell the old company and start a new company that was focused on adding value to people's lives, that was something that we could be passionate about, something that we believed in, because I had realized one fundamental truth. And this is something I really want you guys to burn into your nervous system. If you're taking notes, write this down. The struggle is guaranteed. The success is not. The struggle is guaranteed, but the success is not. Some of you are going to spend your whole lives busting your ass for a dream that is never going to come true. So you better love the struggle. You better believe in what you're fighting for. And my dad gave me a plaque. And that plaque said, find something you would die for and live for it. And I thought, this is one of those cheesy roadside signs that you see in like an antique shop. But I'm going to let this guide my life. And so I put it up in my office, and I thought about it all the time. There's a Mother Teresa quote that says, nobody will act for the many, but people will act for the one. And so I started thinking about my mom and my sister. And I pledged myself to end metabolic disease, that the next company was going to be about building community around a mission to end metabolic disease. And I knew that I could show up every day fighting for my mom and my sister. My mom and my sister were morbidly obese. They had been my entire life. And I wanted to create food that they could choose based on taste, and it happened to be good for them. Now, if any of you have tried to start a business, you know how brutally difficult it can be. And I knew that when it got really hard, when it was 2 a.m. on a Friday night and my knuckles were bleeding from trying to repair a piece of equipment, trying to save a batch at a time in our company's growth where we could not afford to lose a batch, that in those moments, thinking of my mom and my sister were going to be the things that propelled me forward.